Ever, and welcome back to the kitchen. Today, we are tackling a classic, a dessert that just screams summer comfort, the perfect flaky. And absolutely bursting with flavor, blueberry pie. This isn't just any pie recipe. This is the one that will make you the star of every potluck. Forget those runny, overly sweet fillings. We are aiming for beautiful structure and that perfect balance of tartness and sweetness. Now, before we even look at the filling, we have to talk about the crust. A great pie stands on a great foundation, right? You can use a store-bought crust if you're in a massive hurry, but trust me, taking the extra 10 minutes to make a homemade all-butter crust is truly worth it. It's what gives you that incredible flakiness and deep, rich flavor. For a standard 9-inch pie, you'll need about 2½ cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of salt, and 2 sticks of very, very cold unsalted butter, cut into 1/2-inch cubes. The secret here is keeping everything cold. I mean, ice cold. Some people even grate their butter, but cubes work fine if you handle them quickly. We're going to pulse the flour and salt together in a food processor or use a pastry blender until everything is combined. Then add those cold butter cubes. Pulse this mixture only until the butter pieces are about the size of small peas. You should still see visible chunks of butter, which is what creates those desirable layers of flake when it bakes. If you process it too much, you'll end up with a tough crust. Now, slowly add about 1/2 cup of ice water, 1 tablespoon at a time, just until the dough barely comes together. You don't want it wet, you want it shaggy. Divide the dough into 2 discs, wrap them tightly in plastic wrap, and pop them in the fridge for at least an hour. This chilling time is crucial because it allows the gluten to relax, making the dough easier to roll out and preventing shrinkage in the oven. While that's chilling, let's dive into the star of the show, the blueberry filling. For the filling, we're going to use 6 cups of fresh blueberries. If you're using frozen, make sure you don't thaw them, first use them straight from the freezer. To stabilize the filling and prevent that dreaded watery mess, we need a good thickener. I prefer a combination of cornstarch and a little bit of flour, maybe about 1/4 cup of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of flour. We'll mix that with 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. If your berries are super sweet, you can pull back a little on the sugar, but the acid in the pie requires some balancing sweetness. To amp up the flavor, we are adding the zest and juice of 1 small lemon. Lemon juice brightens the blueberries unbelievably and helps the pectin release, improving the texture. Add a pinch of salt, yes, salt even in dessert to balance the sweetness. And maybe a teaspoon of vanilla extract if you like. Gently toss the berries with the sugar and thickening mixture until they are evenly coated. Don't overmix, or you'll start bruising the berries and releasing too much liquid too soon. Now that our dough is nicely chilled, it's time to assemble. Preheat 455 degrees Fahrenheit. Take 1 disc of dough, dust your surface lightly with flour, and roll it out into a 12-inch circle. Carefully transfer the dough to your 9-inch pie plate. Trim the edges, leaving about 1 inch of overhang, and tuck that under, forming a nice, sturdy rim. Now, pour that gorgeous blueberry mixture right into the crust. For the top crust, you have a few options. You can roll out the second disc and place it right on top. Vent it with a few slits, or you can get fancy and do a lattice top. A lattice looks impressive, but is surprisingly easy. Just cut the dough into 1-inch strips and weave them over and under. Once the top is on, whether solid or lattice, pinch the edges of the top and bottom crusts together to seal them. If you're feeling extra, brush the top crust lightly with an egg wash, which is just 1 egg whisked with a tablespoon of water, and sprinkle on some coarse sugar for that beautiful, sparkly crunch. Place the pie on a baking sheet to catch any drips. It will save you a scrubbing later. Now, for the crucial baking strategy, we start high and finish low. Bake a pie at 425 degrees for the first 15 to 20 minutes. This blast of heat sets the crust and promotes flakiness. Then, reduce the oven temperature to 375 degrees and continue baking for another 35 to 45 minutes. You'll know it's done when the crust is deeply golden brown and the filling is bubbling thickly right in the center. If the edges start browning too quickly, just cover them loosely with aluminum foil. The final and hardest step is the waiting game. Once it's out of the oven, you absolutely must let this pie cool completely. We're talking at least 3 to 4 hours. Maybe longer, depending on your kitchen temperature. This cooling time allows the thickeners to fully set the filling. If you cut into it too early, you will have a soupy mess, and all that hard work goes to waste. When you finally slice into it, you'll be rewarded with a slice that holds its shape, filled with sweet, tangy blueberries and wrapped in a crisp, buttery crust. Serve it slightly warm with a scoop of vanilla ice cream, and you've achieved pie perfection. That's all there is to making a perfect blueberry pie that will impress everyone. If you try this recipe, let me know how it goes in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more baking adventures. Happy baking, everyone!